Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hobart begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, vaccinations will be mandatory for the majority of Tasmania's public service from next Wednesday. Teachers in public schools and police officers will now have to get the jab or risk losing their jobs. But it comes amid growing concerns about whether our health system is prepared for COVID to re-enter the state.
Teachers and police officers now among the growing list of professions where COVID vaccinations are now mandatory. The announcement made by the Premier today.
We will be mandating vaccination broadly across the state service.
There are some exceptions, but those who don't get the jab by next Wednesday could be out of a job.
The number of people that we will be working with will be in the hundreds, not the thousands, in terms of those that aren't vaccinated.
At UTAS, everyone heading onto campus from January 15 will need to be vaccinated, while the Public Health Director says he'll meet with representatives from the childcare sector on Monday.
I am inclined to issue a mandate to this sector.
The new rules welcomed by the police union.
We've got very high vaccination rates, well over 95% double vaccinated, and we're into boosters now.
But it's raised concerns about whether our health system is prepared for borders to reopen. Police forced to drive an unresponsive child in Glenorchy to hospital earlier this week after being notified the nearest ambulance was more than an hour away.
When they ring up and say their 18-month-old child's unresponsive, they expect an ambulance, not a police officer, to turn up to deliver partial first aid.
The health union says paramedic shortages are a real problem.
We've only been able to recruit 50% of paramedics into the jobs at this point that we have available, and we're concerned that that simply won't be enough once we see COVID cases increase.
Our healthcare workers are already overburdened and our health system is at breaking point.
The Public Health is standing firm with our reopening date.
I think it's entirely appropriate that we may make some adjustments between now and Wednesday, but the overall trajectory to open up, I think, is appropriate.
One of those measures could see Tasmanians wearing masks more often.
I'm not announcing that we need to wear masks indoors today, but it's certainly a risk mitigation measure that we can use if necessary.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, Tasmania now has the second highest first dose vaccination rate in the country. The Premier says we have overtaken New South Wales and Victoria, trailing just behind the ACT.
Not only will we have one of the highest vaccination rates in the country, but in the world.
Almost 94% of Tasmanians over the age of 12 have had their first dose, with 87.59% fully vaccinated. Peter Gutwin has once again urged Tasmanians to get their second dose. Concept designs have been unveiled for a $240 million port redevelopment in the state's northwest. Tasport says the Keylink project will prepare Devonport for 5 decades of freight and passenger travel.
An eye-watering cash injection to waters vital to Tasmanian trade and tourism. $240 million being pumped into the port of Devonport.
It's about the capacity and the capability of this port for many decades into the future.
Concept designs released for the Keylink redevelopment. New berths will be installed for larger ships, while a 3D modelling system is also being installed to monitor vessels.
Together with our marine safety obligations and the efficiency of freight movements, this will set a new standard of infrastructure delivery.
Early works have begun. The next stage will begin in mid-2022, with a 5-year construction period on the cards.
We want to see it completed in a timely manner and we want to see local businesses have every opportunity to be involved in the procurement of that project.
That opportunity to be offered in a boost to local manufacturing. The port and companies who use it, also huge employers.
So much money is going to be spent here, so many jobs. We're thinking estimated 2,000 jobs are going to be created.
The upgrades have been designed in consultation with TT Line and major freight partners. Their main request, avoiding any interruptions to service.
So it's really important that the port infrastructure is designed and delivered to meet the capacity needs and requirements of those vessels.
The payoff, a 40% rise in freight and passenger capacity. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A consultation process will be undertaken on whether the former Ashley Youth Detention Centre is a suitable site for the Northern Prison. Community views will be gathered after the state government received strong opposition to its proposed Birraley Road location.
An initial evaluation indicates that the Ashley site is well suited for a modern, state-of-the-art correctional facility in northern Tasmania with a rehabilitative focus.
The state government says it's not yet made a decision on whether to move the prison. The youth detention centre currently occupying the site is due to close by September 2024. Tasmania's sports community is gathering as we speak to find out who's been crowned the state's Athlete of the Year. Reporter John Hunt is at the ceremony. John, it's been a big year for our local athletes.
It certainly has, Louise. Tasmania's sports stars have done themselves proud over the past 12 months, with their achievements to be recognised tonight. We're just a few hours away from finding out who will take home the top prize. The raging hot favourite is Launceston's Ariane Titmus. The swimmer became the state's first individual gold medalist at the Tokyo Olympics. Her medal haul including 2 golds, a silver and a bronze medal, also breaking an Olympic record in the 200-metre freestyle. Runner Stuart McSwain also a contender after his stellar season, which culminated in making the Olympic final in the 1500 metres. Hockey stars Eddie Ockenden and Josh Belts also in contention after helping the Kookaburras win silver, along with local cycling icon Richie Port and athlete Dion Kenzie. And Louise, the night will also recognise some of our greats, with 4 local sporting legends to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Renewable energy company Nextsphere has announced plans for an offshore wind farm off Tasmania's northeast coast. The Strait wind farm would compose of 35 turbines, initially generating 500 megawatts of energy with the potential to double that figure.
It's a proven technology in a sector that's basically expanding rapidly globally, and we believe, with both the resources and the capabilities that we've got here in Australia and in Tasmania in particular, that it's got a bright future here.
It supports our Marinus Link ambitions also, and importantly it's about demonstrating that there is strong demand for renewable energy, not just for Tasmania but for the country.
Nextsphere says it wants to engage with Tasmanian businesses in the $4 billion project, which it hopes will be operational by 2027. A Hobart medical centre is now the first place in Australasia offering a state-of-the-art endoscopy treatment. The new device provides greater magnification of lesions in the esophagus and colon, helping detect them before they become cancerous.
For Ian Rosevear, regular endoscopies are crucial. The Kingston man was diagnosed with Barrett's esophagus in 2008, a condition which can become cancerous if not treated.
And there was no facility for fixing that here in Tassie.
It required 5 trips in 18 months to Melbourne, followed by regular checkups. People like Ian can now be treated locally, with the Hobart Day Hospital now offering a specialised camera.
Will allow us to see precancerous lesion, define the area, and therefore we can remove them endoscopically without surgery.
Available also for colonoscopies. The Ultra Magnifier, a far more powerful tool than previous devices.
Magnify the cells down to 135 times in the colonic cells and 125 for esophagus and stomach.
Other cameras were only able to detect cancerous spots and larger lesions. Surgeons now able to treat gut and colon abnormalities far earlier.
We can remove them easily, whereas if you wait for sometimes 6 to 12 months, when they become cancerous, then that will involve big surgery.
For Ian, the invasive process is now a little easier.
It's a day I can drive up from home in Kingston and be home that night.
For allow us to provide the best care for our patients.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
A state-first smoking cessation program is creating marvellous results for Tasmanians looking to kick nicotine addiction. Participants are reporting better physical and mental health, and some have even reclaimed their sense of taste.
For 5 months, the Missiondale Rehabilitation Centre has been smoke-free. For those who were once churning through a pack a day, the move has been liberating.
It's not as hard as it would be out there on my own, I wouldn't have had any hope. Now that I'm smoke-free, I'd never ever go back.
Now, additional armour to fight the stranglehold of nicotine addiction, a new multi-pronged support program.
And that will support our clients to receive free nicotine replacement therapy, as well as receive one-on-one and group counselling sessions.
Funded by the Primary Health Network, clients will also be offered education on healthy eating and exercise. While giving up all substances at once has proved challenging,
it has been hard for the clients. It is very hard for them.
It leaves everyone at the centre with a greater shot at long-term success.
We're seeing lung capacities increase. We're seeing guys being able to taste food again.
Nurses say drug and alcohol abuse is closely linked to isolation, and COVID has only made the issue worse. Now Missiondale staff are bracing for a spike in people admitting themselves post-Christmas.
With that time comes a matter of, oh, what am I doing with my life? And questions are asked.
The funding for the smoking cessation program is available until July next year. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
The Hobart Hurricanes squandered a golden upset opportunity last night against defending BBL champion the Sydney Sixers. Chasing a target of 144, the Canes were cruising at 2 for 70 at UTAS Stadium before losing 3 wickets in the space of just 8 runs. A rapid-fire knock of 47 from Peter Hanscom was not enough to propel his side over the line in the final over.
Hanscom's got plenty of that. He's hit it deep though, straight to Jordan Silk, and they're going to win. Sydney Sixers will win.
Earlier, the Sixers were the ones on the ropes, slumping to 5 for 39 before a stirring half-century from captain Moses Enriquez rescued his side. In the TSL, Clarence has announced former AFL footballer Colin Garland as a senior assistant coach for next year's season. The former Melbourne Demon was a marquee player for the Roos in 2021, but in addition to his vital on-field role, the club says he'll now work closely with young talent as well as overseeing player welfare. Tasmanian Nathaniel Atkinson has helped get Melbourne City's stop-start season back on track. They stole a 1-0 win over Perth Glory, courtesy of an 88th minute header.
Forwards by Goods. Here's a chance, finally! Nathaniel Atkinson nods in the opening goal with just 2 or 3 minutes remaining.
It moves City up to second on the ladder. 2 shock retirements in the space of only 24 hours has rocked Tasmania's thoroughbred racing scene. After weeks of speculation, champion mare and inaugural All-Star Mile winner Mystic Journey has been retired.
She's been taken off a race feed onto a broodmare feed and really letting down. So she's well and truly done enough. She doesn't owe us anything.
Meanwhile, mare Still a Star will also be put out to pasture after suffering a minor internal bleed. Trainer Bill Ryan said the injury was affecting the horse's racing ability. She will be sold in the new year. Fittingly, the pair of farewelling horses had their final race together at the Empire Rose Stakes in October. And the frontrunners for the upcoming Hobart 1000 will emerge after tonight's heats. Trainer Blake Purcell has 4 greyhounds in contention. His most exciting prospect is kennel newcomer Aston Lee, who has drawn box 7 in his race. The 6 winners of each heat and the 2 fastest in second place will qualify for the Group 1 final at Elwick next week.
Evening 17 in Hobart today, Launceston 23, Burnie and Devonport 18. Generally temperatures below average, Friendly Beaches and Bushy Park 20, Flinders Island 19, Low Head, St Helens Grove and Strawn 18 degrees, King Island 17 and Lyawini 15. Cloudy conditions over the southwest with patchier cloud over the east and the higher ground in the north. On the bigger picture, a cloud band extends over Victoria, areas of thunderstorms over the north and east of Australia, the rest of the country under mostly clear skies. Tomorrow the high moves to the southwest of the state, a low will be off the coast of New South Wales and the troughs on the mainland continue. Wind southeast southwesterly at 10 to 20 knots, increasing to 20 to 30 knots over the northeast, swells in the south at 3.5 metres. We have a strong wind warning, which is from and including Flinders Island down to St Helens Point, including Banks Strait and Franklin Sound. Hobart expecting 17 and a possible shower, Huonville the same, and Campania, similar forecast as well. Launceston shooting for 22, a cloudy day, a late shower for Devonport 19 the high and 20 the top for Georgetown with a possible late shower. 18 for Burnie, a cloudy day, Strawn the same, 19 the top for Wynyard. And for St Helens we have a top of 17 tomorrow, a possible shower for Swansea and 16 degrees for Port Arthur. UV up to 10 and very high. On Saturday, a possible shower over the southeast and south, otherwise fine. Fine on Sunday, apart from showers in the east, and a fine partly cloudy day on Monday. Strawn warming up to 25. 25 in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide, 19 in Melbourne. Rain at times in Canberra. Showers for Sydney, and the typical cricket forecast for Brisbane, a shower or two with a possible storm. And the cloud about at the moment, 14 in Hobart, Launceston 16 degrees and Devonport cloudy and 16. And I've been told, Lou, no time for mucking around, so back to you.
No smiles at all. Thanks for that, Merv.